Today, we are diving deep into an ancient tale from the heart of Saurashtra. This isn't just a story. It feels like it was literally carved out of the mountains of Girnar. We're talking about the legend of Ra Navghan, and it's so much more than kings and battles. It's about cosmic duty, unbreakable promises, and an honor so deep it could command the very elements. This is a foundational story of the region's valiant culture, what they call the Dilawar Sanskar. And really, this whole epic story boils down to one single question, a question that pushes human loyalty to its absolute limit. What is the true cost of a promise? And this quote, wow, it just perfectly sets the stage for what's about to unfold. It speaks to this incredible, almost superhuman strength you need to uphold a sacred duty, a strength that turns ordinary people into something elemental and completely unbreakable. All right, so our story doesn't kick off in some grand palace. No, it begins in the humble, dusty hut of an Ahir warrior, right in the middle of a really dangerous time. The kingdom of Junagadh has just fallen, and a promise is about to be forged in the fire of an unbelievable sacrifice. So the Solanki king has swept through the land, slaughtering the royal family in a brutal ambush. The only survivor is the baby prince, Ra Navghan. He's smuggled out of the chaos and brought to the doorstep of a loyal warrior named Devayat Bodar. Suddenly, this man is tasked with protecting the last tiny ember of his kingdom's hope. And this is where you see the impossible choice they're facing. Devayat and his wife, the Ahirini, have their own son, Vahan, and a daughter, Jahal. And now they're holding two infants. One is their own heart's blood, their personal joy. The other, he's the future of their entire people. It's a direct conflict between a parent's love and a sacred public duty. Well, you knew it was going to happen, right? The Solanki soldiers track the prince to the village. They surround it, demanding the child. In a desperate move, Devayat pretends to be loyal to the new king, saying he's been holding the prince captive. He sends a coded message to his wife, and she knows the terrible things she has to do. She prepares not the prince, but her own son, Vahan, and dresses him in royal clothes. But the Solanki governor, he's not buying it. He can't believe a man would just give up his king's son so easily. So to prove this is really the prince, and to prove they have no attachment to him, he gives the Ahirini a chilling, unthinkable command. After the soldiers kill the child they think is Navghan, they bring his severed head to his mother. They order her to step on its eyes. The thinking is, if it were her own son, no mother on earth could do it. But with a strength that is just beyond comprehension, she does it, without flinching. She convinces the invaders their enemy is dead, sacrificing her own child to save the kingdom. Okay, so fast forward 16 years. The true prince, Navghan, has been raised as a simple Ahir boy, totally unaware of who he really is. But you can't hide destiny forever, and the silence that has fallen over the kingdom is about to be shattered by the drum of destiny. So at 15 years old, the boy's whole world gets turned upside down. Devayat finally tells him the truth about his royal blood, the fall of Junagadh, and the incredible sacrifice of Vahan, the boy he thought was his brother. The time for hiding is over. The time for justice has arrived. Devayat comes up with this absolutely brilliant plan. He announces that his daughter, Jahal, is getting married. He invites every Ahir warrior from the surrounding villages, but tells them to come armed. So, under the guise of a wedding party, marching to invite the Solanki rulers to the feast, they gather a secret army right under the enemy's nose. As this wedding party gets inside the fort of Uparkot, Navghan walks straight to a giant, ancient war drum. This drum, the Rajnagaru, is only beaten when the throne of Girnar changes hands. It's been silent for 16 long years. Navghan picks up the mallets and strikes it. The sound just thunders across the hills. And the meaning is crystal clear. For the Solankis, that sound isn't a wedding bell. It's a death knell. The Ahir warriors draw their weapons, and the fort is retaken in one single bloody night. Ra Navghan finally claims his ancestral throne. So, the kingdom is reclaimed. You'd think that's the end of the story, right? Not even close. The debt of sacrifice hasn't been fully paid yet. Years later, a sister's cry for help arrives from a distant land, calling for a promise to finally be fulfilled. Junagadh, the girl who shared a cradle with Navghan, the daughter of the couple who sacrificed everything for him, is now a woman. A terrible famine had driven her and her husband from their home, and they took their herds to Sindh. But there, she's been captured by the local tyrant, Hamir Sumra, who wants to force her to marry him. She manages to send this desperate, poetic message to Navghan. In it, she reminds him of their shared past, writing, "For your sake, I gave up my own brother, Vahan. Remember this, O king." It's a powerful, heartbreaking reminder of the immense debt he owes her and her family. And this is where we get to the heart of it all. You see, years ago, at her wedding, Navghan had offered her the Kapadanu, a sacred, traditional gift of a brother's lifelong protection. She told him she'd ask for it when the time was right. Well, now, in her letter, she's calling in that promise. For Navghan, this is no longer a choice. It is a profound, sworn duty. So, to fulfill a vow this huge, Navghan's response can't just be ordinary. It has to be legendary. This isn't just a rescue mission, it's practically a holy war. And as we're about to see, it's going to take nothing short of a miracle to pull it off. And legendary it is. Look at this number, 900,000 horsemen. The legends say he marches with an entire ocean of warriors, all to honor a single promise to his sister. But there's a problem. A literal ocean stands in their way, the vast Rann of Kutch. As this massive army stands at the edge of the sea, a sign appears. A tiny black bird, the Kali Div Chakli, which is seen as a messenger of the goddess Varvadi, flies down from the sky and lands directly on the sharp point of Ra Navghan's spear. This is the divine omen he was hoping for. The very second that bird touches the spear, the sea begins to part. The waters literally pull back, revealing a dry, passable path for his army to cross. With divine favor so clearly on his side, Navghan leads his forces straight into Sindh. The battle itself? It's swift. It's decisive. Hamir Sumra and his forces are completely annihilated. Navghan finds Jahal, and in this incredible moment of humility and honor, the mighty king kneels before his foster sister, finally delivering the protection he had promised all those years ago. The debt is finally paid. And that, right there, is the essence of the Kapadnu. It's so much more than a gift. It's the very fabric of this story. It's a promise that was born from an unimaginable sacrifice, and it's fulfilled through an act of unwavering, legendary honor. Which brings us all the way back to where we started. The legend of Ra Navghan isn't just some old story. It's a cultural cornerstone for the people of Saurashtra. And it leaves us with one final thought. How do epic tales like this one, tales of loyalty, duty, and ultimate sacrifice, actually shape the values, the character, and the very soul of a people for generations? What does it mean to inherit a legacy of such profound honor?